Hello everyone, welcome aboard Sea Urchin. It's been a long time since I've had the chance to come out and film a little bit of fishing again, but today I finally found a little bit of time. It's a late afternoon, early evening session, only going to be out for a few hours again, but to add some context to what I'm going to be doing and where we're going. So we're now, today's the last day of June, and the water has now started to clear out nicely, and that allows us to be able to fish the wrecks which are closer in and also the rough ground. Now, one of my absolute favourite things to do is to fish hard inside. By hard inside I mean we're fishing in the rough ground that we ordinarily fish at anchor in the winter when we're uptiding for cod. In the summer when the water clears out, there's still loads of fish in there and it is fantastic fun. A lot of people, I've noticed, don't seem to enjoy the fishing close. I don't know why, they don't seem to enjoy it. For me, it's just the best way to fish. So I'm not going far, I'm only going to run a couple of miles to the first stop. It's been really windy today. We're just going out the pier ends now, and you'll see that there's the motion in the ocean as usual. It has dropped away a heck of a lot from what it was this morning, and it's showing light winds for this evening. So I'm hoping maybe 3 or 4 hours, 2 or 3 hours, and we'll try and catch a few. Yeah, we're just approaching the rough ground. You can see just up here on the screen all the rough ground. Yeah, we're going to make a start just in this corner just to try and get a little bit of relief from the residual wind that's still blowing. But yeah, I just wanted to show you what the ground was all about. At the moment we're just on the smooth sandy bottom, and then we're going to go into all this hard stuff up here. Right, so a little short run, 2 miles. So we're up at Sand's End now, and going to give it a go. I absolutely love shad fishing, as I've mentioned before, and that is really what I use. I like to be able to swap and change, because sometimes you go over an area with shads and they don't work. I see it on the days that we have with the anglers on, that sometimes you do a drift and the clip loads on shads, and then other times the guys who are fishing with feathers or Hawkeyes, or the key to fishing close in is there are no rules. You can literally fish with whatever you want. So there's feathers. I've seen people, I've got a video which I can maybe overlay at some point of a lad who I know who sent me a picture of, he was getting 4 codling at a time on a set of unbaited feathers the other weekend. Hawkeyes, which we've spoken about before, baited Hawkeyes, they work. Just a normal bait trace will work. But for me, for the absolute ultimate fun, shadding with a light rod. I think this one's a 12 to a Daiwa Saltist. This is a 14 to 42 gram spinning rod, jigging rod. As you'll see, hopefully when we get a couple of fish, everyone's a tussle. The other rod is a 10 to 50 gram, slightly longer, a little bit beefier, so I tend to fish with, if I'm going to have a go with some bait or something, I'll put that on the other outfit. Right, so I'll put my shadding trace on. This is definitely worth mentioning, because I see some quite, we'll call it agricultural shadding setups where people are fishing with 100-pound mono and things like that, and they look absolutely horrific. So my boom here, which has the lead on the end, that lead's 4 ounces today. I reckon I'll get away with quite comfortably. Lead on the bottom, that's on 40-pound fluorocarbon, and then I have a rolling swivel at the bottom which goes about about 5 feet long, 4.5, 5 feet long, of 30-pound fluorocarbon, just with a clip on the end, so I can keep switching and changing the shads, which is something I like to do. In terms of shads, on the shadding video that I did, whatever you like to use. Personally, inside, I really have fallen for these boys here. They're called swimming Ribsters. They're quite dinky. You can get them in all sorts of colours. I just have a small jig head on them. They've got a massive paddle and they're well ribbed, so they create a lot of disturbance in the water. I found them to be really, really good. Not massive. I do have some bigger shads as well, which I will try, because sometimes the smaller ones work better than the bigger ones. That's just the way it is. One other thing. The one thing that when you're fishing inside, we're fishing in a hard area that's like rough and rocky. And from time to time, your shad will clip the bottom or get stuck in it. It can be a tackle-thirsty job. One thing that's worth investing in is a hook file. Because when they'll quite often, you'll dink them and they might open out a little bit and they beak over. Whereas if you've got a hook file with you, you can literally just rough them up. I mean, they're needle sharp. And keep your hook sharp, top tip. Gets you more fish. Right, so I've set a drift up. Tide's ebbing at the moment. And today they've just dipped back under 5 metres. I think it's a 4.9 or something today, off the top of my head. So we're fishing in 10 metres, that's all. 10 metres of water. And we're down already. And that's it, we just keep working the shad. Because the ground is so rough and undulating, you will get periods where you can't feel your lead hit the bottom, like that's just happened there. So I've just had to pay off another couple of foot, but it's important that you keep on the bottom. You can wind up if you want, but obviously only fishing in 10 metres, they're going to be fairly short winds. I don't know whether something's... Yeah, there's one. See, with these light rods, you can see every fish is a tussle. And it doesn't take long to get them up because you're only fishing in 10 metres. Here it comes. Codling. Now I know some people who like fishing the wrecks and they're only interested in catching big fish, but this is what I love doing. Really do love doing this. Little codling. Oh. You can see there, he's got a lovely creamy white belly. That's what you tend to find with all these fish that you catch inside. They're really, really mint, immaculately clean fish. We'll pop him back. The only slight issue today, or this evening, is it's wind against tide, so it's holding up the drift. We're only really, really slowly moving through the ground. I don't know whether that's another fish. Yeah, there we go. Look, straight in again. That's what we're after. I don't know whether it's what it feels like, the one that I just put back. But on these light rods, honestly, it is absolutely brilliant. Look at that. Now that, I mean, I think that was 3 or 4 jigs, that's all. A white Ribster. That was 3 or 4 lifts from when I got the last fish, and I've got another one already. I mean, that one, I mean, that is a keepable codling. Too small for what I would normally take. I'm not taking anything today, but you know, you can flog away on wrecks and lose loads of gear, and yet a really light jigging rod. It's just absolutely fantastic, really is. Off he goes. Right, see if we can get another one. I'm going to put the kiss of death on it now, but don't be fooled and think that all you catch by doing this is really small little tiny codling, because you don't. There are some really good fish to be had doing this. I think there's something having another go there. Yep, and again. Literally, the second lift, I could feel it starting to attack the shad. They can obviously the water has definitely cleared out now, because these are all attacking this fair and square. You can see, you know, you can see he's hooked right on the end of his nose, which is great. So that's, I should put a stopwatch at the side of the, off he goes. That's three codling in next to no time at all, probably less than 5 minutes. Well, I've just checked that and we're okay. Can drift on a little bit further, see if there's anything else there. Oh, there's one. Yeah, as I will only switch to the other outfit if I can't catch them on shads, to be honest. I'm not bothered about, I haven't got any bait with me anyway, so I'd have to catch some mackerel, but this is what I love doing, so I shan't be changing off fishing the shads. He's a slinky lean one, that. Yeah, he's a slinky lean one, but right down inside it, that's, you know, that has engulfed that. I think we've got it, yep. Yeah, hey. Not hanging around. Can you see how instantaneous and quick this style of fishing is? I'm not having to cut up squid and fillet mackerel or anything like that. You're literally already down on the bottom, because you're only fishing shallow. You're down on the bottom, there's one. Yeah, straight down to the bottom. I'm into it, you know, a lot of people wouldn't even have dropped back down yet. You know, if you're fishing in a regular depth of 50 metres, they wouldn't have got down yet. They're very much of a stamp though, these. They're all fairly similar. I mean, if I measured that, chances are it would be in size, but why on earth, that's it, give us that back. Why on earth they have the size of codling that you can take at 35 centimetres is beyond me. Way too small. Right, another absolutely mint pristine fish. There's a fish. I don't know what this one is. God, they don't have pull back on these light rods. Absolutely brilliant fun. What we got? That's a little bit better size codling. Yeah. Well, he's not had any difficulty seeing that one. That's it. Again, lovely. Whether the sun will reach him or not. But yeah, lovely white creamy belly. We're popping back. Yeah, this wind's just got up and it's... I don't know whether it's going to drop off again or not. Something had a nibble then. That's it. You've got to react fast if you get stuck on something. Alright, that's drifting away. Now this wind, this is something to bear in mind. I've talked about it before. When the wind lifts and your line starts to run away, you've got to go up and down a lot more. Yeah, you've got to go to try and keep that line vertical. I know I talk about it a lot, but it's really important. There's a fish. That fish, even though it got me stuck, I don't know really what's happened, but I've still got a fish on. Calamity. I really don't know what happened there. Whether, because I was just automatically assuming that was pulling for a break. Strange. I did think it felt like a fish to start off with, and then just thought, oh, well, I must have made a mistake. But no, it was a fish. So the boat, with this wind now, I thought it might have started to drop off, but if anything, it's got stronger. It just means that we're running away from the fish a lot quicker. So I had quite a lot of line paid out there. We're making headway on it now. I see what's happened. I've got stuck in somebody else's old tackle. You can see this braid, that's from somebody else who's got caught before. Anyway, just a little coddling. You. There's a fish. I love this sort of fishing. I know we've not connected with anything of any size today, but don't wrongly think that all you catch doing this is really small fish, because trust me, you don't. Get some amazing fish. Codling. They're very lean. That went for a bright green one. We just started ringing the changes a little bit, because I don't think it makes a massive difference, you know. I don't think it makes a massive... Hey up. Fish juggling complete. See if we can find another one. But we've just had that one fish, I think, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 lifts or something off that drift, and we're straight back down again. Hopefully get another one. And now when you get a decent stamp of fish on the ground, you can soon put together a really good bag of fish. There's one, straight away, look. Now, I'm fairly confident that if somebody was fishing with bait, there is no way on this earth that they could have just had 2 fish in, I don't know, probably a minute. Since I got that one up and went down. I mean, I've said it in every video, I think. I'd love to catch a big fish for the camera, but do you know what? I don't really care. I'm not about big fish or anything else. This is what I love, just getting bites. It's almost identical to the last one. I think they were cut from the same cloth. This one's got a defect though, look. See his pectoral fin there? Yeah, and it's the same on the other side as well. Both the pectoral fins face forwards. That must mean he swims backwards, does it? I don't know. I've got time for another drop, see if we can get another. There's a fish. Come on. It's going to be the same size as the others. Yeah. Doesn't look like there's anything much of any size kicking around. Fair and square in the mouth. Pop him back. Right, I've just repositioned us. Changed the colour over to a little pink and white number. Slightly deeper here. I've come out just a little bit, see if there's a touch more tide, because it wasn't running very well. Well, it appears that there's some tide here. My line's just running away a touch. I'm still not having to pay any line out, but the good thing is I should cover some ground. Yeah, there's definitely some tide here, that's good. Hopefully I can find a fish or two. Alright, I'm just going to wind up and check, make sure I'm not tangled, and also switch colours. I'm going to try a little bit bigger shad. Try one of the 6-inch ones. In fact, we'll try a nice black and red, see if there's a pollock down there that might be interested. I do like something a bit darker. Not getting anything at the moment, are we? Just try a slow wind up. It's when you generally get the pollock, you know. Right, what are we going to do? what are we going to do? It's gone quiet here. In other words, to run back down to where we started off. There's still a bit too much tide to go and try a wreck. I think we'll run back down towards Sand's End. Have a go down there again. And see if it has just... This is the thing, when you're doing any type of fishing, you'll hit a purple patch, whether that be the tide's just correct or you've hit a patch where there's actually numbers of fish. They're not evenly spread. It's not like somebody goes dot, 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 you know, and there's an even spread of fish everywhere. There's certain areas that will be devoid of fish at certain times. There'll be certain areas where the fish aren't feeding. So it's always a case of testing and adjusting. Definitely. It's a beautiful evening now that wind's come down. I am going to go and have a go on a wreck at some point when I think it's going to be slowed down enough. And instead of bait fishing like you normally would, I think I'll have a go down with a slow jig or something like that. See if we can get one on the slow jig. I'm just starting to get to grips with using a slow jig. It's great fun, but my technique's not amazing. Ooh. I've got to see if I can get those dolphins. 1 second. Right, time's getting on a bit now, it's gone 8 o'clock. Nice bit of evening sun. Yeah, so by the time I've edited this out, after a nice little start where we had quite a few fish, we've had about an hour and a half of just rubbish really. Tried 3 or 4 different places further up. There was a seal at the first one which didn't thrill me. I don't know whether that created any problems, but you know, I could catch mackerel on the feathers, but I couldn't get any codling at all. As we lost a little bit of tide, I fished 2 wrecks. I think I did 6 drifts in total for 1 pouting. Just absolutely dead, rubbish. But that's what these days are like. Sense of realism. I've come back inside now to finish off. I'm going to fish it until the tide gets away again. It's not really pushing yet. I don't think we're moving much at all. So I'll give it another half hour, 45 minutes. Unless I catch absolutely nothing at all, and then I'll knock it on the head early, but... yeah. I thought we were going to have a great evening after that start, but just goes to show you never know. You never know what is round the corner. It's a grand evening now.